All right, so as we look through today's task, this problem is about Carlos and Clarita comparing some strategies for writing equations of boundary lines for the pet sitter constraints. So they are discussing their work on the space constraint. So looking at the space constraint, it says cat pens require 6 square feet of space. So I'm going to underline that. Dog runs require 24 square feet of space. Carlos and Clarita have up to 360 square feet of space. So if I were to model that with an equation, cat pens I'm going to call X, and dog runs I'm going to call Y. And I have 6 square feet of space for each cat pen, so I'm going to call that 6X. Plus, I have 24 square feet of space for each dog run, so I'm going to call that 24Y. And then they have up to 360 feet. So I'm going to say that that is less than or equal to 360. So now it says Carlos's method. I made a table. I don't have any cats. Then I have room for 15 dogs. If I use some of the space for 4 cats, then I can have 14 dogs. With 8 cats, I have room for 13 dogs. For each additional day that I don't buy, I can buy 4 more cat pens. From my table, the y-intercept of the line is -1/4. So my equation is y equals -1/4 x plus 15. And then here, Clarita's method, I let x represent the number of cats and y be the number of dogs. Since cats require 6 square feet, 6x represents the amount of space used by cats. And since dog runs require 24 square feet, 24y represents the amount of space used by dogs. So my equation is 6x plus 24y equals 360. So now they say since both of our equations represent the same information, they must be equivalent. So 1, it says show the steps you could use to turn Clarita's equation into Carlos's, and then explain why. So we're starting with, in standard form, 6x plus 24y equals 360. And we need to solve that for y. So I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. And then here, these are not like terms. So this would become 24y equals -6x plus 360. So down here, that would mean subtract 6x. And then from there, we have 24 times y. So divide both sides by 24. And when I divide here, -6 divided by 24, I notice that you can simplify that. And that's going to make -1/4 x. And then 360 divided by 24 gives us 15. So this reduces to plus 15. Now I solved that as if it were an equation, and I'm writing my answer over here, but it's actually an inequality. So over here, I need my less than or equal than sign here. So now, show the steps you could use to turn Carlos's into Clarita's. So if I want to work backwards, so we have y is less than or equal to -1/4 x plus 15. So I want to move the -1/4 x over to the other side. So in order to make that disappear from the left-hand side of the inequality, I add 1/4 x to both sides. And to explain that step, the addition property of inequality just says whatever you can add the same thing to both sides and it will disappear and make 0. So over here, I have 1/4 x plus y. So 1/4 x plus y is less than or equal to 15. Now, if you notice, this I need for my x coefficient, I need to multiply all the terms by something to turn it into 6. So what I'm going to do is think, well, I need to do 6 and then divide that by 1/4. If I do 6 divided by 1/4, that becomes 6 times the reciprocal. So 6 times 4/1, or that's just 6 times 4, which is 24. So I did that kind of work off to the side. And now I'm going to multiply all terms by 24. So I'm going to multiply by 24 on this side, and I'm going to multiply by 24 on the right-hand side of the inequality. Again, that's a multiplication property of inequality. So 24 times 1/4 is going to give me 6x, and then 24 times a y would be plus 24y is less than or equal to. So 24 times 15, and you get 360. So moving on, we're asked to use both Carlos and Clarita's method to write an equation for the boundary line. So this Carlos and Clarita plan to invest $12.80, and they earn their last business venture to purchase cat pens and dog runs. It costs $32 for each cat pen. So again, that's 32 times x, and $80 for each dog run. So plus 80 times y. And they have to invest much of the $1,280. So they can't invest more than that. So that amount has to be less than or equal to that. So now we have to show the steps we could use to turn Clarita's costs into Carlos's. So what we're going to do is just solve this inequality for y. So what I'm going to do is model here, and I'm going to subtract 32x from both sides. And I would get 80y is less than or equal to negative 32x plus 1280. And then after that, I'm going to divide both sides by 80. And I would get y is less than or equal to. And then to simplify, negative 32 divided by 80. I'm going to divide both numbers by 16. So negative 32 divided by 16 is negative 2. And then 80 divided by 16 is 5. So negative 2/5 x plus. And now if I divide 1,280 divided by 80, I get 16. So now working backwards, what we would do is I would just do these steps in the opposite order. So in order to move that 2/5 x to the other side of the equation, I would add 2/5 x to both sides of that inequality. So I have 2/5x plus y is less than or equal to 16. And then again, I need to multiply that by a number to get 32. Again, since we divided by 80, I'm going to multiply both sides here by 80. And then when I multiply 80 times 2/5, I get 32. So 32 x plus 80 times y is 80y is less than or equal to 16 times 80 gives me 1,280. So now we're going to put these equations into Desmos, and I'm going to make another video to show you how to put these into Desmos. So click on the link below to get that done.